The title of this video is From Awkward to Genius. And what I want to do is give you guys a casual, quick story of how I've gotten to where I am today, because it wasn't always like this. Let's zoom back about 12, 13 years. I was 14 years old, 15 years old. Going through high school, I was an awkward, skinny guy who just didn't have confidence to express himself. And the one thing I always did have is a lot of intelligence. So I could get good grades, pass tests easily. That part was easy, but there was like no way to translate that competency into real life, into having a rewarding social life. I was the kid that was made fun of for being nerdy. And there was this feeling of being trapped, and that there was part of my mind where I truly believed I was destined and capable of doing something really great with my life and building something great for myself. But I just had no idea how to translate that into reality. I would stay at home, play video games. Girls didn't pay me any attention. Even my friends, I felt, didn't really respect me. And it was a very painful and frustrating time in a lot of ways. And I think there's a lot of people out there right now that are still stuck in that painful time. And if you're a man who is intelligent, it's often harder for you, because you think about things so much, you overthink. Social interactions don't come naturally. Dating maybe doesn't come naturally. And there's this feeling of trapped. And if you had told my 14-year-old self that in my early 30s, I'd be living this incredible life of really the top 1%, I probably, not only would I not have believed you, I wouldn't have been able to even comprehend how amazing that would feel. I would have had no frame of reference. And the way I got here was step by step over about a decade. And I'm grateful that YouTube existed and I could read about self-improvement, self-development, and I started one life pillar at a time. So for me, the first and easiest area to improve was my physical fitness, because it was very simple. All you had to do was eat the correct diet, show up at the gym and lift weights, and I could go from being a skinny, awkward kid to being someone that's quite muscularly well built. And that started when I was 15, 16 years old, and I got obsessed with it. I started going to the gym 3-4 days a week. I would eat these disgusting weight gain shakes to try to gain more mass. And then I started to see bits of improvement in my physique. And it wasn't just the fact my muscles were building and I was becoming more athletic and attractive. It was the feedback loop that, hey, I can change one area of my life, which gave me confidence in all the other areas. But what was interesting is I'm still a teenager, and in the social hierarchy of high schools, when the cool kids see a nerdy kid trying to change his social standing, they actually don't like it. So for a while, it almost made my social situation more challenging, because I wasn't a nerdy kid who accepted his place. I was a nerdy kid who wanted to climb the rungs of the social hierarchy of the high school. And what happened is actually caused conflict, and people would bully me or whatever. And I actually switched high schools in grade 11 for my final 2 years. What was interesting is when I entered the new high school, it gave me an opportunity to redefine myself. And I didn't look like a nerdy kid as much anymore. I was pretty athletic, fairly physically built. And what was incredible is that in this new high school, I just never had the reputation of being the nerdy guy. I was like a solid 6 to 7 out of 10 in the social standing. And high school is a very weird social ecosystem where it's like a small sliver of society, and it doesn't really represent the world as a whole. So I also didn't know it at the time, but my world was about to expand again when I hit university. And by the time I got to university, I was actually pretty well physically built, and I didn't look like a nerdy kid anymore. But mentally, I still had this identity of the awkward kid that doesn't fit in, that isn't attractive to women, that doesn't hang out with cool friends, etc. So the transformation had started, but it was really just the beginning. But the second pillar I wanted to focus on was my social skills. I felt this constant hum of social anxiety in the back of my head when I would be at a party, be talking to a girl, even just be hanging out with friends. I would be thinking, what do I say? How do I say it? How am I being perceived? And there were people who talked about how they actually improved their social skills and overcame their social anxiety. And the long story short was, the way to do that is by having a lot of social interactions and by doing the thing you're scared to do. So go to the party you're scared to go to, go up to the cute girl and say hi that you're afraid to approach, and just do that over and over again, like hundreds and thousands of times, until it just becomes second nature. You get totally desensitized to the possible rejection or social awkwardness. And then because you genuinely don't care as much anymore, you actually genuinely become way less awkward. And that was my journey from probably like 21 to 26, 27, was working mainly on my social skills. And during all this time, again, the one thing that came naturally to me is I always had high intelligence, so I could get really good grades. I graduated university on the dean's list, got a good job in corporate world, etc. But I was still living this life of mediocrity, really. And then the third piece I wanted to change is, after having success socially through like thousands of repetitions of exposing myself to uncomfortable social situations, I was like, okay, I'm physically attractive from the physical fitness work I've done. I feel pretty capable to handle myself well and be charismatic in most situations. And then I'm like, okay, what's next? And at this point, I was really starting to feel the abundance, that I had really transformed these two areas of my life in a profound way. Then I looked at the rest of my life and said, hey, I'm working at this accounting firm, and yes, it's a prestigious, very large financial institution, but I want more freedom than that. I want more. I see people running businesses, and I see people having true freedom and power in their lives. And I know that they're not smarter than me, and now I have the confidence to actually go and do that. So I leveraged my social skills and just made a small shift and started applying that to business. So what I started doing was approaching business owners that had bad websites and offering to build them a website. And again, I fell back on my intelligence because I knew I could learn how to build a website as soon as I got my first client. The challenging part for me was the sales and going up to businesses and trying to pitch them my service. However, it was actually very similar to going to a party I felt uncomfortable going to, or approaching a girl I felt uncomfortable approaching, or whatever it was. The social skills translated really well into sales and business. So I made that tweak. Eventually I had success, quit my job, started a business, selling websites. It transitioned now into, we run monthly paid ads, and I have a thriving digital marketing agency that allows me to live anywhere in the world and gives me a lot of money and financial freedom. And a lot of my closest friends are now multimillionaires and just incredible people. And that transition really happened from 27 now to 33 is how old I am now. And that was really the final piece that also just accelerated my social circle, because now I was someone who's socially confident, who doesn't look like a nerdy kid anymore. I look like a powerful man. And I'm suddenly one of the more interesting people in most rooms because I've quit my job. I am my own boss. I run my own successful business. I manage a small team, etc. So that stack, that value stack, has given me the life that I have now. And the reason I'm making this video is I really think there's a lot of young men who are in that position I was in, who have, they're starting stats in life. They started out with intelligence at an 8 or a 9 out of 10, but their charisma is at a 2 out of 10. Their physical fitness is at a 3 out of 10. And that's a hard place to be, because you have all this intelligence, but you don't have the confidence to use it in the world. But the thing is that intelligence you have is an appreciating asset that you can apply to different areas of your life strategically. And if you have enough patience to wait multiple years to grow each area of your life, your physical health, your social skills, and then your business, you can kind of live like a James Bond lifestyle if that's what you want. Or you can go buy a farm with your dream girl and build that lifestyle if that's what you want. You have the freedom to live whatever life you want if you stay to the path. And what the trap that people fall into is, if you let the anxiety or depression or the trapped feeling win, and you stop working every day to move your life the direction you want, then you'll forever just be like a nerdy kid whose intelligence never really gets known. And as they say, you'll die with your song unsung. So this was a quick video, unscripted, shot here on my iPhone. Let me know what you think in the comments below. I plan to make more videos like this, speaking to a younger version of myself. So until next time, I'll see you guys later.